Now, I was really excited to see this movie. The trailers looked awesome, and it's named after one of the best songs ever made in Bohemian Rhapsody. And I've been hearing a lot of negativity being thrown at this movie, and I don't get it. I don't think it's deserving of the rating it got on Rotten Tomatoes because I enjoyed the crap out of this film, and I thought it was just fantastic. The music was one of the things I was probably looking forward to the most, and it's done really well in this film. I heard somewhere that the voice of Freddie Mercury during the musical numbers was kind of an amalgam of the original Freddie Mercury's tracks in the music, Rami Malek, and this Canadian singer who his name escapes me right now, but he sounds almost exactly like Freddie Mercury. It's kind of scary when you watch him, these clips on YouTube or something like that. But I kind of wish that the music was a little bit more upfront. They didn't use it quite as much as I thought they would, but they used it in a fairly good way in this movie. But it just made me realize that I forgot how many good songs Queen made over the years. Speaking of Rami Malek, I thought he did a fantastic job as Freddie Mercury. I don't think anybody's going to argue that he didn't do a job in this movie, especially in the musical numbers, because Freddie Mercury had a very distinct way of moving, especially on stage. And I think Malek just nailed that in the musical numbers. And throughout the movie, his performance was just fantastic. It's such an intoxicating performance. And if there's one thing that I could recommend that you go see this movie for, it's for Malek's portrayal of Freddie Mercury. Even though this movie does tackle the origins of the band Queen, this is Freddie Mercury's movie. It's about him, and it focuses on his involvement in the band and how he struggles to figure out who he is and how this sort of affects the relationships in his life. And it's just this classic story of how fame and fortune can really go to somebody's head. And I really like the conflict of who he chooses to include in his life and who he shuns away and how that shapes him as a person throughout the years. But what I loved seeing was the drama behind Queen. And I think those were my favorite parts in the movie, that Queen wanted to be more than just another band. They wanted to give their fans something more, something new and unique. And I loved seeing how certain songs got made and how the headbutting between bandmates would make their songs better, because each member would give their opinion on the track and just improve upon each other's. And I loved seeing that and how each band member would make each other better. I love seeing that dynamic on the movie. Now, the movie does have sort of a slow build to it. I could see that boring a couple of people, but for me, the longer the film went on, the further I got sucked into the story. Now, what I will say is the editing is a little spotty in a couple of places. I mean, sometimes the editing just added this great dynamic to the scene, but in other times it kind of left the scene a little flat and hollow, and I didn't really appreciate the time jumps in this movie because there's so much they have to cram into like a 2.5 hour film. I get that, but I got a little confused sometimes with the time jumps. And for me, what I found this movie was doing was sort of mimicking the song Bohemian Rhapsody, which is, I guess, why they might have titled it this way, because it has a slow build to it, and it finally sort of crescendos to this grand finish, which is the Live Aid concert. This final scene was worth the whole 2-hour buildup. It is just done so well, and the attention to detail was really good, because if you look at the piano that Freddie Mercury is playing on during this concert, there's these Pepsi cups scattered throughout just sitting on top of it, and I think they're placed on the exact place. I'll have to go back and look. And I think if you've seen footage from this concert, I think you know how good it actually was. And what this movie did for me, at least, I felt that it was giving me a great sense of what it might have felt like to be there live. So despite its few shortcomings, I really enjoyed this film. Some might think it's a slow movie, but I found it to be an interesting look at the band Queen and the life of Freddie Mercury. If not for anything else, I would recommend that you go see it just for Rami Malek's performance, because I'm giving Bohemian Rhapsody 4 out of 5 stars. So now I want to know what you think. If you saw Bohemian Rhapsody, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to like and share it, and stay up to date on all the videos going up on this channel. Give that subscribe button a click. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.